All right, we are live. Hello, audiences, and welcome to a special edition of Naik News. I am your host, Rahul Naik. It is a mystery that has eluded scientists for eternity, a mystery that every single culture has attempted to solve in one way or another. It is a mystery of life, the mystery of how simple metals and atoms around us came together in a unique, special way, so special and unique that it formed the very basic necessities of organic life, and I got the opportunity to sit down with a man who thinks he has the answer, a man by the name of Stanley L. Miller. Welcome, Mr. Miller. How are you doing?
Well, I'm just doing well, Rahul. Please, understand.
Right. So, Stan, you recently did an experiment simulating how early Earth was like, correct?
Yes, we did. Actually, please, give a hand to the University of Chicago and the University of California, San Diego, for allowing us to experiment and arrive at this Brobdingnagian breakthrough hypothesis.
Would you care to explain the motivation behind this, as well as what you hope to find in this experiment?
Well, one of the biggest scientific mysteries is how life came about. Harold and I wanted to find it. Recent scientific advances have told us that the blueprint for all life is called DNA. This DNA is made of special molecules called amino acids. Without amino acids, we would not have been able to exist. And so when analyzing the results, we looked for amino acids especially.
Wow. So how did you go about this? Did you try to simulate early Earth?
Yes, sir. Mr. Harold Urey, my partner and I, trapped methane, ammonia, hydrogen, and water in a closed system composed of a lot of flasks connected to each other. We believe that these four gases are representative of the Earth's atmosphere 4 billion years ago, when life first came about. Another feature of the Earth in its early days was lightning. A lot of lightning. While one flask was half full of water, another contained a pair of electrodes. During the experiment, we evaporated the water into the flask, with electrodes and the other gases ran a continuous current, and condensed the water again, so that we could run a cycle for the purposes of the experiment.
Well, that sounds great. What did you find from your experiment?
Well, I'm happy to say that science has taken a step in the direction of progress and answers. After analyzing the results using a special organic separation method called chromatography, Ray and I discovered that 10 to 15% of the material formed was organic molecules and about 2% were amino acids. That may not seem significant, but think of how many organic organisms there are on Earth compared to things like metals, gases, and water. These numbers were more than enough to create the first signs of life, a cell.
So, what legacy do you wish for your discovery to leave behind on the scientific community?
Well, our discovery is correct, and it seems by all means to be so. We have found the seeds of life, how Earth came about. If the complex molecules that make us are able to spring up from our simulated laboratory conditions of early Earth, then there's no doubt in my mind that there could be any other explanation for the formation of life. And so I want our discovery to leave behind a legacy of finality, a legacy of a hard final answer, the kind of a hard answer that leads to development in an entirely new field. Those are hard to come by in science.
Is there any advice that you can give to the youth who are struggling to choose a major and might be conflicted about pursuing a career in the sciences?
Well, first I'd say to follow your dreams. Whether that be to follow a career in the sciences or become a photographer, always pursue what you love, or you'll regret it.
Was there any disagreements between you and Harold Urey when you were actually doing your experiment?
Well, of course there were. That's a part of working with other people. There will be disagreements. But just like any other successful group, we managed to resolve and settle our differences and work in synergy to come up with this breakthrough.
And now, looking back, was there anything that you would change with how you went about doing this experiment?
Well, we were equipped with some of the best technology that's available, but of course, there's always ways that we can improve. If we had better technology during our experiment, we would have been able to execute it more quickly and do more work, but this really wouldn't have been very implementable given the current state of technology. We spent the right amount of time on all of our steps and did so effectively, and so we came up with this really good breakthrough.
So, to this date, what recognition have you earned for your experiment in the scientific community?
Nothing yet, but we would be honored if our Brobdingnagian discovery is recognized for the impact it will have on science in the future.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, that's all the time we have today. We want to thank Mr. Stanley Miller, or Stan, for joining us today and sharing with us a little bit about his experiment and how he worked with his partner. So let's give a hand for Mr. Stanley Miller. And before we go, we are going to give a quick shout out to Mrs. Tobler's biology class, Block 1, from Morris Hills High School. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.